Welcome back to the Aramco Group studio here at UT TV, joined now by Ricky Young, our Watchdog editor at the UT.
Hi, Roger.
Ricky, there's so much to get to, but first, it seems to me this is the second day of supposed sexual rehab by the mayor. We don't know where he is. We don't know whether he's in sexual rehab or in a bar. We have no idea.
Well, I mean, his spokeswoman did tell us yesterday, she confirmed that he had gone to rehab. She wouldn't answer any questions about it, but it's significant that she even got back to us because often she doesn't even get back to us. So at least the official word from the administration is he's there.
He's there. All right. Assuming that, yesterday on this program, former Mayor Sanders said the sheriff's hotline appears to be hot, and the sheriff is investigating, as the mayor put it, 20 cases. Also in the paper you had today that the San Diego County Sheriff's officers, investigators had been questioning Irene McCormick Jackson, whose lawsuit Gloria Allred announced a couple of weeks ago. That all sounds like criminal stuff is brewing here in the background.
Yeah, the Attorney General's office is involved as the prosecutor there because, of course, Bonnie Dumanis, who ran against Filner, has a bit of a conflict. So the AG's office is involved as the prosecutor, working with the Sheriff's Department, again, because the police department has a conflict as well because they work for Filner. So a lot of tricky stuff going on with roles being passed around. But yeah, the Sheriff's Department is handling the police function there, and the Attorney General's office is handling the prosecution function.
Do we know any more about who's coming up today? Because we're going to carry it live at 12:30, but Gloria Allred is talking about announcing yet another complainer about this.
Yeah, in this case, a nurse. Again, a situation I understand where she needed something from Filner, and then he allegedly needed something from her too. So there's these situations, pattern emerging where it's someone who either as a staff member or as a lobbyist or whatever needs something from Filner, and he seems to take advantage of that, the allegations go, to try to press for favors.
So it sounds analogous to him going after developers for cash when they want permits. He goes after sex from women.
There. Yeah.
It's interesting. All right. The most interesting thing I thought yesterday, late in the day, was the release of the handwritten notes from Lee Burdick, current chief of staff to the mayor, who had resisted giving those notes, saying, "No, you're not going to get them because this is here's a piece of them here." And look at those. When you read those notes, what did that actually tell you?
Well, honestly, the thing that jumped out at me was Lee Burdick's transcribing of what she saw in that meeting, and the mayor's very surprised response when Irene McCormick Jackson made this statement about the panties, and you can see there it says that he replied, "What?" with a question mark and 2 exclamation points, that he was perplexed. And then he says, "What did she mean by that?" If you skip to the next page, you'll see, a June 29th meeting. This is 9 days later, and you'll see the note. The Burdick says, "Still, the mayor is saying, what did she mean by that?" Now, to me, that sounds very convincing. Obviously, this could be duplicitous in a number of ways. It could be the mayor pretending to be surprised. It could be Burdick, his loyal chief of staff, making him sound very surprised in the notes. But at least at face value, it sounds like he is claiming no knowledge whatsoever of having said to her, "You should work with your panties off."
Alan Jones, on the other hand, and some of the other people in that meeting, this consultant Gittelsman seemed to be on the track of trying to really warn him about his treatment of staff.
Yeah, absolutely. The bigger picture here is that the meeting notes seem to confirm that the staff was really grappling with this idea that the mayor's behavior was unacceptable, I believe is how it's put in the notes. Just not okay. People were very upset. There's a little aside from Burdick saying, "Agree, people are crying in my office." So there seems to be confirmation in these notes of what the administration unraveling of how that all came about. It's interesting to try to figure out why she wanted to withhold these notes. There was this whole dispute. She tried to claim she was an attorney, and therefore these shouldn't be released under attorney-client privilege. But if you look at the notes, they seem to sort of back up what we've heard from several people in the administration anyway. So it's not clear what they were hiding, if anything. It may have been just as a matter of principle. Well, these are my notes. You can't have them. I don't know.
In those notes, and we don't know whether we got all of them, by the way, I suppose, but
Yeah, there's this statement from the city attorney saying, we're glad she handed over some notes.
Yeah.
That seems to imply,
There might be others.
she's still withholding something.
which could answer your earlier question.
Right, right.
Just give them a little bit.
Yeah.
So then, were you surprised at all about the people who were in the meetings? Because we didn't know who Gittelsman was, right, before this.
Yeah, I think the biggest surprise there, and our Watchdog reporter Trent Siebert has also obtained a log of who signed in for after-hours meetings at City Hall. And to me, the big surprise there, as you can see on the 29th, is that Bronwyn Ingram was there. Now that's well after a lot of these controversies. It's just before she broke up with the mayor, but there she is on the 29th attending this meeting. Also Tom Shepard, the political advisor. A lot of key staffers as well, but we thought that was sort of curious that she was there.
All of this, of course, is going to get into a deposition, which the mayor's going to have to, under oath, answer questions about all of these things coming up, Friday?
That's right, on August 9th. Apparently, it's still going to go forward, even though he's supposedly in intensive behavioral therapy.
Yeah.
I don't know how intensive it is if you take a break to go answer questions about your legal troubles back home, but...
Well, it's going to be intensive questioning. There's no question about that, because now who will be at this deposition? It was originally called for by Jan Goldsmith, the city attorney.
Right.
But I guess Gloria Allred's going to be present as well?
I assume so. There was that guy who barely said anything at her original news conference,
Right.
who I assume is the lawyer doing a lot of the work.
A lot of the actual work.
I think Gloria may be sort of the front person on this, but
Yeah.
she may be there. I'm not sure.
Well, I think that as parties, I think Irene would want to be in there asking questions through her attorneys.
Sure.
Get the first crack they can at Bob Filner, and I'm sure that the sheriff's
Berger will be there, I'm sure, his attorney.
and sheriff's investigators are going to want to listen in on that thing as well
Yeah.
to see what he's saying about some of the allegations, because they did question Jackson for an hour at least the other day about the allegations in her complaint, which include a lot of unwanted touching, which
Right.
would be sexual battery at least, or maybe
Yeah, it's very
assault.
interesting. Sexual harassment has been the most often used term, but a lot of these allegations sound like more like a battery than
Yeah.
because a lot of these are not people who worked for him. They're
Ricky, we have so much more to cover. We'll
Yeah.
get to it.